Hello my dear friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video today I want to talk to you about the total lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo that we are going to have on March 14, 2025. This is the first lunar eclipse in Virgo, I believe, in 9 years, and it's a very special, very important eclipse. We're gonna dive right into this. Give this video a big thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe. We will talk about the general themes that I'm seeing with this eclipse, and of course how it's gonna affect the 12 zodiac signs. Of course, even though I'm gonna give you a short description of what it means for your rising first and foremost sign, of course check for sun and moon as well, if you really want to understand what I'm talking about and the energy of this eclipse, please do not skip the intro, because this is where I'm going to be explaining everything. For the rising signs, I'm just going to give a few words of which area of your life it activates. Okay, so, and as always, this is going to be pretty general when it comes to the individual zodiac signs. If you want your personalized prediction, currently personal readings are available. Links to book everything are in the description box. Also, if you're watching me when I just post, I think that there is still a one-on-one mentorship program, one spot available to study astrology one-on-one with me. So this is a very personalized offering where essentially I teach astrology one-on-one. I talked about this in many of my previous videos, but yes, if you've been called to this is the last chance to book it. And anyway guys, without any further ado, let's get started. I'm not gonna lie, when I first looked at the chart of this eclipse in Virgo, I don't want to say I got scared, but definitely it felt very intense. Of course, this is eclipse at around 24 degrees of Virgo. It's more precisely 23 degrees, I believe 53 minutes, something like this. But of course, yes, it's more closer to the 24th degree over here. And it is an eclipse that's also happening with South Node. So South Node right now is at approximately 27 degrees of Virgo. North Node, obviously always opposite, is 27 degrees of Pisces. So when you look at the chart of this eclipse, you see Virgo, right? This full moon in Virgo eclipse, and all the stellium of planets essentially in Pisces. You see, of course, Saturn at the 22nd degrees of Pisces. You see Sun at 24th degrees of Pisces. You see North Node at 27th degree of Pisces, like I said before, and Neptune at the 29th degree of Pisces. So that's quite a lot going on in Pisces. Of course, we also have Venus and Mercury in the early degrees of Aries, which are about to... Actually, they are already retrograde at the point of this eclipse. Venus is already retrograde. Mercury is turning retrograde, right? So you have them technically also re-entering Pisces just days after this eclipse. So yes, of course, when we are looking at an eclipse like this, it's gonna feel very intense for everybody. But of course, for people, especially with Virgo placements, but people with Pisces placements, Gemini and Sagittarius as well, especially people who have planets right around from the 20th degree all the way to 29th degree, all of you guys are going to feel it a lot. And it's an interesting eclipse in a way, because again, if we look into this, right, we did not have really this eclipses on Virgo Pisces axis in 9 years. The last similar eclipse to this was approximately, I want to say it was either March or April of 2006. A lot of us, of course, were children at that point, so we don't necessarily even remember or understand what was happening at that time, and it might not even, you know, be a great reference point, because okay, yeah, what did you do in 2006? Yeah, for some of you guys, of course, those of you who are older, yes, you will maybe, like, if you look back in 2006 when we had a similar eclipse to this one, maybe it will give you some understanding of what to expect, similar themes right now. But for most of us, you know, those who are younger, we might not necessarily be like, okay, like, what does it even mean, right? But yeah, regardless of where you find yourself in this situation, I would say that the major theme that stands out to me with this eclipse is, of course, a theme of sobering up. Now, check out my video. I don't know which channel it's going to be posted on, but check out my video that I did for the eclipse in the sign of Pisces, the one we had in the fall of 2024. And I talked in that particular video a lot about, you know, waking up from the bubble, essentially from the illusions of Neptune and Pisces. And Neptune and Pisces was there approximately since 2012, right? So the eclipse that we had then, in many ways, talked about, you know, needing to starting to understand, like, right, we've all been under spell and we are now waking up. Now this eclipse in Virgo, which traditionally is all about health and kind of like being very practical, detail oriented, not so much lost in the bubble, not so much lost in the illusion. This eclipse is going to help us further to start seeing concrete reality much better, start seeing clearly through the deception that was there. And again, for some people, they already been seeing through this, right? For others, they still yet have to sort of say wake up. And this eclipse, I think, is going to be an incredible, awakening moment. So yes, sobering up, in a major ways. And, I do think that I look at this eclipse. I also look, of course, at the aspects this eclipse is receiving. And it's not really receiving, outside of obvious stellium, right? Like if you look at Mars is in a positive aspect to this eclipse, in a supportive aspect to this eclipse. You look at Uranus, also in a supportive aspect to this eclipse. So I do not think that it's going to be as fear-mongering as I'm sure certain astrologers will already will start making predictions for this. However, I still think that this is definitely the time where we need to be more careful, and especially because this is the axis of Virgo Pisces, I do recommend you guys to be more grounded, taking care of your physical health, eating well. Of course, with the eclipse like this, there could be some concerns, some scares, maybe about the well-being of the livestock, right? The well-being perhaps of animals, the well-being, like the quality of our products. And of course, as you know, right, in the United States of America, we now have Donald Trump as president, and RFK Jr. at the moment when I'm recording this is already confirmed, right? He's doing this Make America Healthy Again reform. So I do believe that maybe certain shocks to the health industry, health systems could be part of this eclipse. Maybe we will find out certain things that will shock us even further. Or maybe, again, a lot of us already know a lot of these different things about food, especially in America, right? And maybe it's going to become more mainstream, where people are going to find out how much they were lied about certain things. And in terms of even sobering up, yes, there could be quite literally whole movements to heal addictions, including what's been happening with, of course, drug problems in the United States and, of course, around the world too. So it's a very sobering eclipse, and it's also an eclipse where a lot of people make an intention to change their health habits, to make things better for themselves health-wise, to make things better. Anybody with Virgo placements knows that we sometimes are even hyper-fixated on our well-being, on our physical health. But of course, there is no physical health without mental health, because, stress, right, is such a big contributor to not such good things. And I think with this eclipse, a lot of us are going to be inspired to take care of ourselves even better. Obviously for people who have not been taking care of themselves, this could be a certain wake-up call at this moment in time. But for people who already been taking care of themselves, maybe they will be inspired perhaps to go even further on the healing journey, maybe to share information or somehow help others get better also with their healing journey as well. It could be even about looking into opportunities in terms of work in health, agriculture, even sector. Again, when you think of a Virgo as Virgin, the maiden, the way she is usually portrayed in ancient scriptures is this maiden who has, I believe, Ayurvedic medicine in one hand, and then wheat crops in another hand. So it's about food, nutrition, and it's essentially, yes, it is connected to that industry as well. Of course, this is also the moment where there is concerns about just in general stability of the world in terms of jobs, in terms of work. Virgo is connected to this too. A lot of people these days are scared, right? AI is going to come in and take their jobs. And even though it seems like it's not necessarily happening yet, it feels like it's coming closer and closer. And for a lot of people, it's not very clear, what do? They cannot just quit right now, or just passively also wait how it resolves. So I think this eclipse is going to give a lot of us room to think about the future, changes that are happening, changes that are coming when it comes to the world, when it comes to nature, when it comes to the food that's available, when it comes to global health, and what we can do essentially to, to remove things that are toxic, things that have been maybe poisonous, things that also been misleading and deceiving us. Like, there's so much deception when it comes to, even in the health industry. This world is supposed to be, in my humble, I guess, opinion, already at the brink of immortality, where, we can achieve not just, not talking here about obviously spiritual immortality, but we can achieve physical immortality. We can achieve, complete state of health for everybody in this world. We have that potential, we have that capacity, but unfortunately, right, there's been so much done to hide the truth from the people, to mislead people about different things. And I believe with this eclipse, some of this information could be coming out. And in general, it's going to be for a lot of people a big wake-up call to take care of themselves better, to maybe adopt a more healthy regimen, including physical exercise, eating healthy, holistic medicine as well. Most people who have Virgo placements will probably tell you that a lot of us are very much into non-traditional forms, more connected to nature. Not to say to disregard Western practices, but it's also about, connecting to some of these ancient schools that have so much, knowledge and wealth of information when it comes to herbs, different plants, and energy modalities even that play a role in us having the best, most balanced, body mind connection. So I believe I actually made a whole video about RFK Jr. and people were asking me at the time, do I believe he will become president? I said very honestly that unfortunately I don't think he will become president, but I do believe that his life mission has a lot to do. He has, his planets right in 6th house. It's part of his life mission to bring a health reform. I genuinely hope he succeeds. You can watch that video that I made on RFK Jr. He might be somehow even part of the events that happen around this eclipse. I would not be surprised. And yeah, essentially, I genuinely hope that events that are happening will be ultimately for, growth when it comes to, humanity, and humanity coming to understanding of how to make things better. Because Virgo also ultimately it is that healer, but yes, it's also somebody who likes to improve things, somebody who wants perfection, who wants to improve things. So in a way, like, even though yes, you can say so many scary things about this eclipse just looking at all the stelliums, I still have more positive vision for it. Now, I also think that job security and just in general, the future of jobs, the future of workforce is a big theme with this eclipse as well. Again, there's going to be, with North Node, of course, here as well, being, involved so much with Neptune, Sun, Saturn that are in opposition to this eclipse. There is going to be some things we don't really see coming that could occur. Something, I don't know if it's about layoffs. I'm not sure about that, like in specific sectors. Could be maybe some kind of work reforms, could be, I am not sure exactly what that is, but I do get that definitely there's going to be changes in how each of us are going to think of our future when it comes to job, our future when it comes to work. I remember actually, I think it was 2016, 2017, I worked in finance at the time, and I just knew that like this phase was going to be over soon. I meant to do something for myself and just work for myself and just do things my own way. And at that time, I think internet and even making startups, etc., was still kind of, I don't know, like less people, I guess, were doing it. Less people were also doing like things like YouTube, etc. And now I have a very similar feeling where I just feel like, there's so much content creation and so many startups of this, startup of that. What is the next, phase? Like, there was a time when corporate didn't seem so, didn't seem so aligned with where the universe was expanding. It was more about being self-employed, like building something of your own. And now I don't want to say that these things are going to go away. I don't think so. Like, ultimately, I'm not saying that these things are going to go away. Of course, they will continue. But for those of us who want more, and doesn't want just like a universal basic income or some average income or minimal pay, right? Where is the next great opportunities? I know that everyone is saying about AI and even crypto, and I'm not against these things. Obviously, I'm very interested. I think we will have super intelligence in the next some years, in the next few years, probably in less than 10 years, I think for sure, probably next 5 years if I was to give a number, but I would need to look deeper into this, because to me it has to do with Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, ultimately a mutual aspect that they're receiving, but so that's very positive. But essentially, yeah, it's like I think a lot of bubbles will burst. Maybe this will be the beginning of it, because I do think that Neptune essentially is the mother is the mother of all bubbles, is ruled by Neptune. So maybe the crypto and AI bubbles are going to start coming down too at this moment in time. And in general, a lot of us will be thinking a lot about what are we here also to contribute, what are we here to work towards, if our jobs and our work plays such an important role in who we are and what we do here. How can we, make it aligned to, first of all, enjoy ourselves more, right? Because life is about joy. Life is not just about struggle and, like, all these things, right? At least I think so, right? Somebody might disagree. How can we enjoy life more? How can we make it more aligned with our purpose, whatever work we are doing? I think these are some of the themes with this eclipse as well. So there's probably so much more I could add. And I think this general feeling that a lot of us been already having, maybe for some of us even it already started when we had eclipse in Pisces in, what was it, September, right? It was, what was for September, October? In September, right? When we had the eclipse in Pisces, for a lot of us, this feeling like, okay, we are doing certain job, we are doing certain project, we're doing something, certain work, but it's almost like, yes, we continue doing this, yes, we are keeping going, so to say, but it almost feels like we know that there's something else we are meant to be doing, or will end up doing, or it's coming soon, and it's almost like, okay, but like, when is it coming ultimately? Maybe it's even for a lot of people who realize that, right, their jobs will be taken in some capacity, either by AI or something similar in nature, right? And you kind of know that yes, it is coming, but like, okay, but I keep going anyway. I keep working, I keep doing my job anyway. Because ultimately also, right, what are the alternatives? It's like, that there is some kind of future that's coming. Some people have a very positive vision of the future. Some people have very negative vision of the future. Some people are somewhere in between. Everyone knows that something huge is coming, right? But like, you're like, okay, but what am I gonna do? I gotta still, do whatever I do every day. Go to my gym, go to my work, and some people are trying also to figure out how to become part of this future, how to consciously co-create it. Actually, I liked the interview. Another day I watched the interview of Shivon Zils, the one that's with Elon Musk, Neuralink, right? And she gave a brilliant answer. I think like somebody asked her about the future, right, where AI gonna take over, etc. And I thought like her answer was great, because at the end of the day we are co-creating, right, the future. They are definitely co-creating it, but we all collectively co-create, whether with our consciousness or certain actions we take. So even though your impact might seem small, you might be playing out much bigger role than you expect. In fact, I think I'm remembering another podcast I watched some time ago too. It was a brilliant podcast by Lex Friedman. I don't remember which episode of his podcast it was, but he talked about history essentially, and all the big major events in history. Essentially, they are happening at times, like big events happening as a series of these micro little events that don't necessarily even include biggest key figures, but there are some seemingly random individuals, random events, little events that somehow shape the course of history. So of course, understanding this, apply this to everything we talk about. And Virgo does connect to it's a Mercury rule, so smaller things, smaller maybe little events, characters, so to say, in the whole play. Let's see what happens. Of course, this is also March 14 eclipse, just 2 weeks before the March 29th final eclipse in Aries in this series, which I did a whole separate prediction, world events for that, because that one I think is going to be actually pretty crazy. So we find ourselves in the middle of all of what's going on. What are we going to do? What are we going to choose to work on? What are we going to choose to improve? Which structures do we need to implement in our life to ultimately achieve our goals? Because again, this is a lunar eclipse, but there's a whole Venus and Mercury retrograde also happening in March, right? So a lot to consider here. what can we ultimately, like, how can we ultimately, in the midst of all the instability, make our life so much more stable, whether by having a grounding practice, right? Like when I started working out, for example, it helped me so much, because no matter what happens, I know that every day I'm gonna, make it to my yoga practice or to my, little walk, little jog, my meditation practice, and it gives certain, it's consistency, and I think predictability, not unpredictability, but predictability is what helps us to create a much more security in our life. It helps us to see kind of like everything is always changing anyway. So the security and stability is in a way an illusion. But when we create certain structures, certain routines, certain environment for our goals and for what we want to create to naturally be as a byproduct of that environment, that's when, it becomes much easier. It almost feels like, wow, you've been working so hard, but you didn't have to. All you needed to do is to create nice structure, nice process, nice routine, build the correct environment, correct resources in the right places, and everything you want manifests itself. You don't have to do much. So these are some of the things to think about. If I think of anything else, I'm going to include in the editing. And now let's go to 12 signs again. Please don't skip this part because this is where I give you all the most important things. It's going to be much harder to understand what's happening for you if you don't have this part. And of course, again, even though I'm going to do my best to guide the 12 signs, it's going to be general. In your individual chart, something completely different could be coming into play that could be completely different from the general prediction I gave to the 12 signs. So if you need a personalized consultation, they are currently available. Links are down below. See you there. Give us a big thumbs up, subscribe, and let's go. Okay, Aries, for you, this lunar eclipse with South Node, of course, is happening in your 6th house of routines, jobs, health. Some areas could be very much wrapping up something related to a job. Some of you could be quitting a job, quite literally quitting some kind of job because you want to, there's something that just happening for you. You might not, with the all this 12th house activations in Pisces, you might not even be able to put your hand around this, so to say. You might not even yourself understand why you want to quit certain job or why you want to quit certain regimen, perhaps certain routine. Maybe you just want to spend more time in the pursuit of some kind of spiritual practice, a pilgrimage. Maybe again, 12th house could be very much things we ourselves don't see. It's just something it's there. We cannot put our head around it, but it's like, okay, it's affecting us somehow. So for Aries, this could be the end of a job, work project, and just in general thinking about like, okay, where is this going for me with my work? What's the future of my work? You might understand that as there is an end, there seems to be, in this case at least, there is this end. There is not necessarily always this new beginning that's readily available. It might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable because here in this 12th house there's so much you don't know. Plus, yes, Venus and Mercury are in your sign but going retrograde, so you're almost like, yeah, what am I supposed to be doing here? So Aries, you need probably a one-on-one consultation. If you need one, I'm here for you, but if not, just brace yourself through this time period. Neptune's about to enter your sign. A lot is about to change. You don't know everything yet, but essentially, in the final eclipse in your sign too, just 2 weeks after this. So you don't know everything yet. You don't have all the information yet. So sit in the uncomfortable, so to say, while the path is revealing itself. Okay, good luck, Aries. Let me know how it goes. Let's go to Taurus. For Taurus rising, this is, and of course sun and moon as well, but we start with rising always. For you, this is happening in your 5th house of creativity, of children, romantic partnerships. So there's something here about your creativity, about children, about your creative self-expression. For Taurus, it's not such a bad eclipse because there's a lot of supportive influences here. So you might be feeling more creative. You might be making actually some kind of I don't know, maybe even releasing some kind of creative project, or feeling more creative, feeling like the best way for you right now to channel your emotions or to deal with your emotions is through creativity. Yeah, it could be like you are understanding that, okay, there's a lot I'm feeling, there's a lot going on, a lot of changes, right? Uranus is still in your sign, but I have this creative outlet, and this is really my go-to right now. So creative time for Tauruses for sure. Of course, there's Venus retrograde in your sign as well, in the 12th house, so you might, as you're as well, like in that space where there's a lot you don't quite understand, you don't know, but through some kind of creative expression, could be music, could be other things, of course, it's like you find an outlet and you're okay almost like with everything that's happening. So let me know how it goes, Taurus. Let's go to Gemini. For Gemini risings, this eclipse is happening in your 4th house of home, family, property. So for Geminis, there might be something that shakes up a little bit of your foundation. Again, it doesn't mean something crazy for all of you, but maybe around home, around security, something is not going or working the way you expected. You need to let go of something. Maybe it's again some kind of home project you wanted to renovate. Again, this kind of things. I don't want to say all of you are moving, because obviously this is something where we need to look at your individualized personal chart. I cannot make a such prediction for just a general rising sign. But yeah, there's something within family. Maybe it could even be removing karmic influences of family. Like if you have an opportunity around this eclipse to go to some kind of, healing session, there are those constellation sessions, or just any kind of spiritual healing related to your family lineage. It could be a great time, because if there's been something related to your family, especially criticism of the family or lack of support of the family that's been holding you back, especially in the pursuit of your goals that you have for yourself, this is going to be the time to release it. Okay, Geminis, again, you have Jupiter in your sign, so you've been going through a lot of growth and starting to believe in yourself again, perhaps after a long time of not really feeling the support that you needed. So it could be, even though it's a little bit more for your sign, especially later born Geminis, later degrees of Gemini, it could be a little bit more stressful still. There's a lot you can a lot of positive things you can extract from this eclipse. Okay, so let me know how it goes. Let's go to Cancerian. Okay, for Cancerians, and of course Cancerians are ruled by the moon, so you always are much more sensitive to eclipses. For you, this eclipse is happening in 3rd house of moving, neighbors, short trips, anything you do around your house, around your neighborhood, neighbors, siblings. With siblings could be something. Be careful to not get into fights with siblings. Possible. But also I'm seeing some Cancerians could unexpectedly move, and it's not necessarily a permanent move, but it could be a temporary move. It's something that's related to travel. It's something that's related to foreign travel, to overseas travel, moving, maybe like between houses, taking some kind of short distance trips. You could be very busy. There's maybe some repairs that could be needed around your home, around your house. You choosing to move in, move out. Again, people think very often of 4th house, right, as the home of is the house of home, family, and property, but it's really the 4th and 3rd house connection, and especially the 3rd house that relates to moving. I actually see more people moving around transits to their 3rd house rather than their transits to the 4th house necessarily. So even more so than Gemini, Cancerian are more likely to move, even if it's not a permanent move. It could be a temporary move, maybe like a trip. You go somewhere to live for a few months, could be something like this. But also because it is a south node in the 3rd house, you could remove some kind of limiting belief. Maybe you could remove your social media. You decide to do a detox because you feel like social media just giving you headache or something. Removing of thought patterns or communication, daily practices, daily interactions that maybe are not productive. Like, how sometimes we take a detox from Instagram for a few days, and suddenly you feel like you have all this time to do everything you always wanted, and it's just, and you're back on social media, and again, the time just flies and you don't even know what's going on. Something like this. And of course, Cancerians, Mars is also direct already by the time of this eclipse on your sign, going into Leo a month from this eclipse, right? So yeah, a lot of things are moving forward for you. So yes, good luck, Cancerians. Let me know how it goes. Let's go to Leos. Okay, for Leos, Leo risings especially, this is the eclipse that is happening for you in the 2nd house of resources, things that you own, things that you've acquired, certain talents, certain income. So you might be letting go of something you really value. Again, 2nd house could represent various things we value, from the income streams to certain valuable possessions, and it could be something you're letting go of that is needed for you to acquire something even bigger. So you're letting go of one way perhaps of making money, but maybe you're getting a bigger share in some kind of joint project, in some kind of joint venture. It could be because again, you do have that north node right in your 8th house of shared resources, teammates, colleagues, shared capital even. So there's something here about letting go of something that you value, but there is a potential to acquire something much bigger, something much more. So again, Mars is still in your 12th house, right? Mars will be re-entering your 1st house, your sign Leo, just a month from this eclipse. So pay attention to what happens now. And again, something you might be letting go of, yes, even though it's painful, yes, even though you value it, you don't want to maybe, it could be very much opening doors for you for much bigger, it's not even about what you own, I guess, but it's like it's you don't really lose. I don't say you don't really lose anything, but again, essentially you are letting go of something, but there is a door that's much bigger and much better that could be opening up somehow as a result of something you're giving up or letting go. So let me know how it goes, Leos, and let's go to Virgos. Okay, Virgos, don't freak out, right? Virgo placements for you, of course, take care of yourself extra with eclipses. Take care of yourself, your physical health, your mental health. Again, I'm not saying that something is gonna happen here. It's more like needing to be more stable, and also seeing where maybe you yourself in some way have held yourself back because you were too critical of yourself. You played too small. Virgos tend to be the most self-critical. Also, Virgos tend to overgive to others. We very often give everybody, but again, unless we reach that point where we're like, okay, I don't want to be used anymore. I don't want to be that person where everybody uses me and then I somehow end up with nothing. Until that point Virgo reaches, usually it's because we are somebody who likes to help. We are somebody who's very given in nature. Again, it could work to our advantage or it could work against us, depends on us in many ways too. But essentially, if you've been overgiving to others, if you've been allowing people to keep you small, if you yourself kept yourself small because you constantly downplay your achievements, you're constantly hard on yourself, this is going to be the moment to reconsider this. Also, if you've been maybe, I don't know, too critical of yourself, feeling like you are never ready for the things you want, this is going to be a moment where it's going to change. There is a big, of course, emphasis on your relationship with all these planets in Pisces, so I wonder if a fated relationship could enter your life at this moment in time. If you yourself could maybe cut ties with certain individuals that you feel like are not gonna go with you places where you want to go. So it's a big eclipse for you. There's so much more I can say. I probably will include edits in this video once I'm editing, because it's so many ways it could go. Of course, depends on your individual charts here too, but definitely for Virgos there's going to be a time of a major reassessment. Where you are, what you've done so far in your life, do you like how is it going? Do you want to continue going in the same direction, or are you ready for something new? And how can you believe in yourself more and stop downplaying yourself, stop playing small, stop being so hypercritical of yourself? You know how they say, right? So many people are so much far ahead of you, not because they are better, but because they believe in themselves more. So this is for Virgos to decide in this moment. So I probably will add more here, but good luck, Virgos. Let me know how it goes. Let's go to Libras. All right, for Libras, this is the 12th house of it's interesting when eclipse happens in the 12th house, because it kind of is a natural, I guess, place when we see especially south node type of lunar eclipse. For Libras, this is a major letting go moment. Something you are letting go of, something that perhaps it's time to say goodbye to. It could be something from the past. 12th house is the house that's connected with the events and people from the past. Something maybe that's been limiting you unconsciously. It could be some unconscious self-criticism. It could be something unhealthy that's deeply ingrained in your subconscious. Something that is time to just let go, say goodbye to. It could be something you've been processing, maybe a judgment towards another person, maybe certain unhealthy habit of yours, eating unhealthy, addictions, attachments to people who are not good for you. Maybe even it could be something like a practice, especially if it's like a religious or spiritual practice that no longer feels in alignment with where you are, what you believe in today. It could be addictive pattern. It could be when actually as a Scorpio rising, I recently have gone through eclipses in my in my 12th house, right? Libra, south node in Libra was in my 12th house, and oh my goodness, this was the time where I purged so many of negative beliefs that I had, especially when it comes to relationships for years, like a lot of unhealthy attachments, a lot of unhealthy beliefs. I've purged so many of them during, in my case it was not in Virgo but in Libra, through eclipses in the 12th house. I've purged so many negative beliefs, negative beliefs, thoughts, subconscious patterns. You have no idea. It was painful though. It was not, by no means was it easy or a fun process, at least for me. I don't know, maybe for other people it was more fun. So for a lot of you guys, there could be something similar happening. Of course, in the sign of Virgo it's different than when it was in Libra, but I think that it's definitely, when there's a 12th house eclipse cycle, it feels like a purge of subconscious, like in your case, again, maybe it's less about relationships, but self-perfectionism, criticism, you critical of yourself, you critical of others, you constantly seeing the glass half empty and not half full. So yes, things like this. Good luck, Libras. Let me know how it goes. Let's go to Scorpio. Scorpio, this is a very important eclipse in your 11th house, and this is where you're going to be really considering where you are, where you're going, achievements, what stands in the way. Also, if there's been people standing in the way to your goals, if there's been things in general, 11th house related things. It could be, again, communities, people, friends, goals, something that you need in order to have certain doors open for yourself. Whatever's been standing in the way between you and your goals could be cleared at that time. But also the key here is, of course, because 11th house in Virgo is South Node especially rules people who are quite negative, you have to clear your path yourself from anybody who doesn't believe in you. Because that's the thing, like, you cannot, like, think about yourself, right? If you have certain goals, but you hang out or give them time of the day, give attention and energy to people who don't believe in you, do you think that it helps you to achieve your goals? This is something I've recently been thinking a lot about, because even though I like to separate sometimes my professional work from personal relationships and friends, I'm starting to think that, if people don't fully believe in what I do or support me, I just cannot give them time. I cannot give them energy. I feel like it's taken away from things I'm building. And again, it's not to say they don't believe in me, but if they don't have that excitement about me and about things I'm building, I feel like this is me neglecting the work I'm doing. This is me neglecting the things that are important to me. So maybe this is a bit of a radical approach, but there is something here to say about removing people who are critical of you, who are not believing in you, because right now everything must be cleared to your success, to the road to your success, to your great achievements. Mars will be re-entering your 10th house just a month after this eclipse. Then, of course, we have the whole Jupiter, saga next 2 years continuing. So this is an important moment. A lot of things can clear when it comes to your success, but you have to take yourself seriously, and you have to really consider, like, if people who are around you at this moment in time, are they helping you, or are they taking you away further from your success? Are they delaying you? Because there's definitely going to be something like this that's going to be a theme. Good luck, Scorpius. Let me know how it goes. Let's go to Sag. Okay, for Sagittarius, this is the eclipse in your 10th house. For a lot of you, you're going to be really asking yourself, what the hell am I doing with my career? You're going to be like, where am I? Am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing something else? Am I supposed to focus on something else? Do I even want to work in this industry? Am I happy with the achievements that I have so far? Am I happy, period here, right? So this is the time to see what's blocking your success. Are you even in the right industry? Do you want to keep going the similar path? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How are you going to do it? And again, you don't have to have all the answers, but I do feel like for a lot of you, whatever's keeping you small, or if you see that the environment where you are in is just not helpful to what you want to achieve and create for yourself, you're going to be reconsidering something. Again, you guys, especially with later placements in Sagittarius, will really feel this eclipse. It's going to be big. Something about your social status changing, career path changing, or again, if you are not changing this, you are really seeing, okay, what's helping you, what's standing in the way. Again, there's going to be quite a few of those eclipses happening for you on your 4th and 10th house axis, so this is not necessarily the time to make all the final decisions, especially not in the midst of retrogrades, of course. But I think if you want to make a career change, for a lot of you, you're going to become very aware of this right around this time. Okay, so just let me know how it goes. Let's go to Capricorn. For Capricorn, this is the full moon total lunar eclipse with South Node in your 9th house. House of travel, house of spirituality, education. So maybe for some of you, this could be a change in your spiritual beliefs, something happening with education, something happening with travel. You're deciding to, I don't know, if you've been living in a foreign country, maybe you decide to move back to where you come from. Could be something like this. It could be very much a shift. Eclipses in the 9th house very often manifest as a bit of a spiritual awakening or moving from one belief systems. Again, it's not just about religion and spirituality, but literally even our political affiliations these days are very much 9th house, right, where we believe, right, something like we are that side, etc. So it could even be a shift of what you believe in general, in terms of social dynamics, in terms of political dynamics, in terms of economical, like in general, your beliefs about the world. You could decide to change the course of where in general you're moving, like in your life, maybe quite literally moving. You could make a decision that surprises you. Like you thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna go in a certain direction, and then you're like, nah, actually, you know what, I want a different direction for myself. Change something about the course you are taking right now, this moment in time, could change for you. So we'll talk more about this, but let me know how it goes, and let's go to Aquarius. Okay, for Aquarius, this is the full total lunar eclipse, full moon eclipse, that's happening in your 8th house of shared resources, of other people. So for a lot of you, there's going to be, maybe you wanting to become more independent with this kind of eclipse. You decide that you no longer want to rely on a person, a system, whatever it is. And again, it could be quite literally financial, material resources, but it could also be emotional. Like very often what people misunderstand about that house is they think, oh, it's resources of my partner, as in like cash. And of course, yes, it's a big thing, but it could be very much, when we rely on somebody emotionally, whether it's friends, whether it's a significant other, quite literally to, for them to be there, to talk to them. Something about that you could be releasing now. So maybe you decide to just be less reliant on another person, more reliant on yourself, maybe less reliant also on all the spiritual, I don't know, maybe even some kind of esoteric elements, but become a little bit more grounded. Well, of course, here grounded is not necessarily the right word, because even though where the North Node is of course your 2nd house, it's all in Pisces. So you might be in a little bit of a tricky situation in terms of your beliefs and best strategy you're creating for yourself on how to achieve your goals, because there is a part of you that craves more stability, yes, but it's almost like the way you go about achieving that stability, self-reliance, economic security might not be the most straightforward way, because again, all this energy is in Pisces, which is as mysterious, I guess, and as dreamy and as magical as you can imagine. But a lot of you still have this urge to maybe do things less in a way that's expected of you, and how other people wanna do it with you, and do it more in your own way. You want to find more practical approaches, but again, it's kind of tricky here, because even though it's practical, it's still different from the way maybe you expect of yourself, or others expect of you. A bit of a trippy explanation, to be honest, for Aquarius is, but essentially, to make it simple, with the full moon eclipse in your 8th house, you are letting go of resources of other people, support maybe of other people. Other people's expectations could even be deep connections, deep entanglements with other people, and you're choosing to essentially pave your own path to whatever it is you want. So let me know how it goes, Aquarius is, and let's go to Pisces. For Pisces, of course, this is the eclipse that's happening in your 7th house. For Pisces risings, especially those who are not in a happy partnership, especially those who have planets, of course, from the 20th to 29th degree of Pisces. A lot of you, I see it so much, and it's already coming true. If the partner you are with, not supportive, not there, critical, keeping you small, or just you see that this relationship is not going to go anywhere good, like you've already seen how far this relationship have gone, there's going to be more and more I don't want to say that all of you are going to break up during this eclipse, but again, if the partnership is toxic, you're going to see more and more of that. Maybe some of you have been trying to work things out with another person, and maybe you will even continue to be working things out. Again, I cannot say all of you are going to break up, because a lot of these things do depend on your individual charts of your partner, your own personal free will, of course, and other things. But I do see that, again, if this is a partnership that's not meant to be in your life, that you yourself see how it's not supportive, and you need much more than what this partnership is giving of you. For some of you, you will be releasing that. Now, of course, it can also play out to maybe, okay, you have a partnership and it's a good partnership, but there's maybe some problems. Looking to how solve these problems, how to let go of maybe your partner decides to really work on themselves, especially if they have any kind of unhealthy habits, especially if they are maybe very judgy, critical, not supportive of you. They are like, okay, I'm going to work on myself. Could happen. Again, for Pisces, more than anything, it's not even so much necessarily here just about you, but it's also about your partner. And of course, with all these planets in your sign right now, including Neptune at 29th degree, right? That's about to go into Aries. At the end of the day, you have much more power than you think in a situation. It's up to you to decide what's going to happen. So choose accordingly for yourself, right? There is a lot going on here. Just don't let, I would say, this energy of Neptune to make you think you are lost, because again, this is a very common like it's very common that I hear this from my Piscean clients when they are going through this Neptune transit. They're like, oh, I'm so lost, I don't know where I'm going. And I'm like, no, you know where you're going. It's just there's this illusion of being lost with Neptune energies. So at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide how certain things are going to unfold, what decisions are best for you. And yeah, you're going to be in the center of it all. So anyway, you guys, let me know how it goes. Wishing you all to manifest all these energies in the most beautiful, benevolent way, with minimum any kind of tension. If anything, you know, you hopefully it's gonna manifest magically for you, and your loved ones will be happy, healthy, safe, in a beautiful environment, you know, doing beautiful things, growing spiritually. And yes, that's all I have for you. If there's additional thoughts, I'm gonna insert them in my editing. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, the way it's going to manifest is going to really depend on each of you individual charts. If you need a personalized consultation, the links to them are down below. And yes, oh yeah, one-on-one mentorship. There is a spot as of the moment of me recording this. If you're interested in my one-on-one mentorship, I'm taking one more student. Link to book this is in the description box as well. Thank you so much. Love you all. We will talk soon. Happy eclipse season, happy retrograde season. I genuinely hope for all of you it's going to be a magical time. No matter what is happening around us, we are going to manifest the most beautiful timeline for ourselves and for humanity. Love you all. Thanks so much for watching. We will talk soon. Bye bye.